And visitors, please remember to switch your electronic devices to silent. And we are live. Welcome, everyone. I would also like to welcome our viewers at home who are watching this meeting via live stream. Could I ask you all to please be upstanding, and Councillor Migdal, could you please read the opening prayer?
Almighty God, we ask you to guide us in all our discussions to show goodness, honesty, understanding and wisdom in all that we undertake to do. May we respect each other's views at all times, and we ask all of this in your name. Amen.
Councillor Olo, would you please read the acknowledgement of country?
Thank you. On behalf of elected members, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, on which this meeting is taking place, and show our respect for elders, past, present and emerging.
Thank you. Take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, without prior approval, any recording of this meeting is prohibited, and no action should be taken on any resolution of council prior to written advice from the city being received. And we have the official opening. Ladies and gentlemen, I now declare the council meeting of 5th of May 2026 open at 6:31. Right, apologies. We have the following apologies that we've received. Mayor Mark Irwin, and I'm acting in Mayor's place this evening. Chief Executive Officer Stephen Rodich. Acting CEO will be Michael Quirk, and Acting Director of Community Development is Shane Cameron. Mr. Silence, do we have any other apologies? Neil, thank you. Disclosures of interest. There were two disclosures of interest from the Community Resources Committee meeting last week, and these are displayed on the screen behind me. Mr. Silence, have you received any other disclosures for this evening?
Through you, Acting Mayor, no, I haven't received any at this stage, thank you.
Neil?
Excuse me, Acting Mayor. I do have a disclosure for item 13.1. I've met with the residents in regard to that item. So
Thank you, Councillor Judici. You hand that over to the governance team. Councillor Ree?
Just taking on board your consideration that 12.1, 12.1, the grants note, the 12.1 P1, the open space, most of us throughout the council have all met with Park, so it's an interesting comment. I don't think we need to declare it, but I'll give it to you.
Let me just find out, Mr. Silence, is it wide-ranging?
Through you, Acting Mayor, yeah, I'd think that, everybody's affected by that particular report, so it would be an interesting comment that probably doesn't need to be declared.
Thank you. Councillors, if you feel like you have further disclosures, you go ahead, Councillor Hatton.
Sorry, Mr. Acting Mayor, I didn't quite get that last comment, but like Councillor Judici, I have met on item 13.1 regarding the tree issue with the resident.
If unsure, Councillor Hatton, please fill out the disclosure form. Councillor Dudek.
Thanks, Acting Mayor. 13.1, Impartial also met with the residents regarding this.
Okay, we know what to do there. Councillor Eon.
Same.
Okay.
Same.
Same.
13.1. I met with the residents from the street regarding the tree.
No problem. Be sure to fill the
Yes.
form out. Councillor Olo.
Thank you on 13.1. I have met with residents today, so I will do the impartial. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Olo. And Councillor Olo has another one. Mr. Silence.
Through you, Acting Mayor, yeah, just recently received one from Councillor Olo for 18.1. It's an impartiality interest as she is on the committee for Catalina Regional Council.
Okay, thank you. We're just moving on to item 5, petitions. Councillors, there are no verified petitions. Do you have any unverified petitions that you would like to table this evening? I see nil. Item 6, responses to previous questions from members of the public taken on notice. We had one question from Mr. Mark Masiello, which was taken on notice at the previous council meeting. The response to this question was included in the agenda for this council meeting, will also appear in the minutes. And we move on to item 7, public question time. I have several this evening. The first person that I will call forward for public question times is Mr. Yong Lai. Come forward, please. Just your full name and suburb, please. And you push the button on your right-hand side. That's the one.
Yong Lai, Inglewood.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor, elected members, executives and staff. I'm grateful for the opportunity to address Council this evening. My questions relate to Agenda Item 13.1, Electors General Meeting Recommendation 2, Attachment 2, Motion 1, John Street Verge Tree. Before I proceed, I just want to acknowledge the councillors that took the time to respond to the affected residents' queries, and also to those who made the effort to inspect the tree in context. That engagement is genuinely appreciated. I just note very briefly that the officer's recommendation before council tonight disregards the motion that was carried at the EGM in its entirety. That 3 answers that administration provided at the EGM worth reiterating was that there has never been a safety assessment on the tree, there has never been a cost analysis on the tree, and finally, the confirmation that council can determine the removal of the tree without going through the tree appeal panel.
Mr. Yong Lai, first question, please.
Yep, first question. Panel independence. What conflicts of interest safeguards apply where a tree review panel member is asked to make a recommendation that contradicts the position of the delegated officer responsible for appointing them to the panel?
Mr. Johnson.
Through the Chair, thank you, Mr. Lee, for the question. The Tree Appeal Panel Terms of Reference determines that the members are to declare either of the following interests as referenced in the Local Government Act 1995: financial interest, impartiality interest, and a proximity interest. To further safeguard the integrity of the process, panel members are also required to declare if they have provided a response to a complaint or provided expert opinion on a complaint. If they have, they will recuse themselves from the panel. This includes the chair. In this case, the final decision has not been made by me as the delegated officer. The removal of the tree is not consistent with the city's policy, and the matter should be referred to the Tree Appeal Panel.
Thank you.
Second question, Mr. Lai.
Assessment criteria. Will the specific criteria the tree review panel applies to assess the tree be made available to the affected residents and prior to the panel convening, and will residents be permitted to make submissions or attend?
Mr. Johnson.
Through the Chair. Yes, the specific considerations are the City Trees Policy, relevant management practices and documents, Australian standards, legislation and local law requirements, best practice arboricultural practices, and information contained in the application form submitted by the residents. In addition, the review is not limited to considering just the location or health of the tree. It will also involve a holistic review of the significance of the tree in the community and the circumstances that may be contributing to the customer's concerns. Residents are permitted to submit information to the panel as part of the application process, but not to attend the meeting.
Thank you.
Your third question, Mr. Lai.
Given the risk is documented and the city has already been on notice for years and this tree has already dropped limbs on multiple occasions, will elected members tonight accept personal and institutional responsibility for any future injury, damage or death if appropriate action is not taken?
Mr. Murphy.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. The administration uses the Quantified Tree Risk Assessment Model, a QTRA model, to determine a quantifiable risk level. This is recognised assessment to determine the safety of a tree, and it's legally recognised in Australian courts. The document submitted by the residents is not a QTRA assessment carried out by a qualified arborist. It does not take into account the interventions, including regular inspections and ongoing management being undertaken by the city to manage the risks. The QTRA assessment found the tree is within a tolerable risk level, And the tree in question is one of 340 of approximately 415,000 city-managed trees that undergo detailed annual assessments with identified works actioned accordingly. Administration is following the recommendations in the QTRA and considers that the risk is being suitably managed.
Could I have a follow-up?
Thank you, Mr. Lai.
Okay. Could I have just one follow-up in that response or no? No?
That's three, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, thank you.
You had a good go. Mr. James Helliwell.
James Halliwell, Nollamara. Thanks, Acting Mayor and Councillors. My question relates to the topic of street lighting in the Balga ward. A post this week in the Balga Community Watch Facebook group suggesting that Balga doesn't have enough streetlights has attracted over 50 reactions and 30 comments, largely in support of the view that the area needs more street lighting. Acting Mayor, my first question is, can you provide a list of the number of new additional streetlights that have been installed in Balga ward so far in financial year 25-26 and where these lights have been located?
Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Chair. Through you. The City does not carry the general responsibility for providing or maintaining street lighting. That's the responsibility of Western Power, where the question's better directed.
Your second question, Mr. Helliwell.
Similar on the second question then, I would assume, is what plans exist for new additional street lights in Balga ward for the remainder of 2026 and where would these lights be located?
Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, through you, Chair. Obviously, I'll refer to my previous response, but the City's able to request further information from Western Power to assist with that answer.
Fantastic. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Helliwell. Mr. Roland Hadley.
Good evening, Roland Hadley, Woodlands. It was made difficult for me to ask this question at the last council meeting as Mayor Irwin interrupted. However, the Ewan Street Community Group still wish to know if the amounts loaned to Mayor Irwin for him to contest charges issued by the Local Government Standards Panel have been repaid and what documentary evidence can be provided.
Mr. Silence.
Through you, Acting Mayor, any repayment of an elected member for costs associated with provision of legal service would be in accordance with Council's requirements, and I can't answer on behalf of another elected member.
The second question, Mr. Hadley.
As the West Australian ratepayers are now providing Mayor Mark Irwin financial benefits and allowances as president of the Walga Local Government Association, in addition to his salary, allowances and benefits paid as Mayor of the City of Stirling, the Ewan Street Community Group asked if this is construed as double dipping and wonder if ratepayers can expect some form of refund.
Mr. Silence.
Through you, Acting Mayor, I do believe that the President of Walga does receive some meeting fees and allowances, and they're completely independent of any meeting fees or allowances that are given by the City of Stirling.
Thank you.
Your final question, Mr. Hadley.
Thank you. Which staff and councillors are attending the National Local Government Association Conference in Canberra? Can you please provide the individual costs for each person for airfares, hotel, foodstuffs, registration and incidentals? We note that many councillors have previously attended these annual junkets. The event can be followed on live stream. Therefore, if you're still interested, for those who do not attend, that's always available. Thank you.
Mr. Silence.
Through you, Acting Mayor, in terms of the actual costs, I'll have to provide that notice, take that on notice and provide that in writing. In terms of the attendees for the ALGA conference, it's at this stage Councillor Dudak, Papard and Perkov, and just to note that the Mayor's costs are being borne by WALGA.
Thank you. Talisha Rhodes.
Good afternoon. My name is Talisha. I'm from Nullamurra. I was asked to come today by one of the councillors, Joe, with some issues that we're having down the laneway of Piedmont Court and Hillsborough Drive in Nullamurra. I have lived at the premises for 10 years, and during that 10 years, there's been a number of incidents occur down that laneway. In 2017, I think it was, Amber Jane Sanderson came out and attended the laneway, and there was an article in the paper about it, about all the issues that we are having down this laneway of criminal offences, people shooting up drugs, graffiti, constant fencing damage. Oh, sorry, I've got a long list here, but I'm sure you don't have enough time. My question...
We'd probably like to get... Yeah, thank you. Go to your question.
Sorry?
I thought you were going to keep going.
Well, there is a lot. There's quite a lengthy list of all the problems that we are having. I have tried, there's been several neighbours as well that have attended this meeting tonight, because we're all having a lot of issues with this laneway. The lady down the road, the elderly lady down the road, when they tried to do a petition about getting it closed, and said no because she uses that laneway, which is fair enough. We all use that laneway. It's easy access straight to the shopping centre, but the problem that we're having is that the drugs are getting quite bad, the syringes that are found on the floor, etc., etc. My question to the council is what can be done about this matter, because we get the runaround being told that to contact the police or contact security, and we do all of that, we make documents, but nothing has actually changed.
Mr Mullins.
Through you, Mr Chair, I am aware of those concerns. It was raised through Councillor Criado. So there was a request around CCTV, and the installation of CCTV is guided by the city's CCTV principles. So it is something that we can consider. Outside of that, we are arranging for additional patrols by our community safety team. We're a 24/7 to basically try and attempt to deter some of that behaviour, collect the discarded syringes, and we work closely with the WA Police Force as well, so we'll be making them aware of the concerns. I'm also happy to give you my card and reach out to you after the meeting.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Talisha. Sigan Olawayo. Please come up.
And the podium's just here.
That's the way.
Ready to go, it's just there for you.
Yeah, ready to go?
Good to see you, Mr Olawayo. Last time we met was at the community kitchen a couple of months ago. Go ahead. Just your name and your suburb, please.
Acting Premier, my name is Shegun Olawayo. I live in Balga for 40 years. My contribution this evening to the councillors and members attending is to thank the City of Stirling for the renovation improvement they've done to the forecourt at the Administration Centre, and then particularly for the visual impaired blind, the installation of the new tactiles that lead the blind to operate as an independent individual, encourage the blind to approach the council office and staff by themselves, and use that new tactile tracking that is audibly sensitive and to the person, the blind person, and can hear music making from those tactile materials, and particularly the decision-making point, whereby the music sounds go quiet, and the blind can recognize this is a moment to make a decision to go forward, to go right, or to go left. Just I want to compliment the city and councillors and staff to have installed these new redevelopment improvements. Thank you very much.
Mr. Olawoyo, do you have a little question? It's okay, we'll go to someone as well, but would you have a question for them? Could something be done a little bit better? Is it all good?
All very good. Thank you very much.
I will go to Mr. Brereton on this occasion.
Yeah, through the chair. Thank you for your, I guess, affirmation of some of the work that we've been doing in access and inclusion, and for Council's awareness. There's several members of our Access and Inclusion Advisory Group who've come along today as the new Access and Inclusion Plan is actually on the agenda. But Sagun is a good example of when we spoke about the town square, of actually having someone who lives with a disability being able to show us what it actually means to actually walk that space as different to us just complying with the standards. So we want to comply with the standards, but by having someone who's got lived experience showing us what maybe some of those pitfalls might be, we've learnt from that and we've come out with a far better outcome. So can I just thank you for your contribution and also the contribution of all the Access and Inclusion Advisory Group members. Thank you.
Mr. Olawoyo, well deserved.
Thank you.
Public question time's been in progress for about 15 minutes now. As Chair, I'll rule to extend public question time for another 15 minutes. Could I have David Ranosh step up, please?
Yeah, David Ranosh at Vendeloo. I just got a couple of questions about parking on Cayley Street with the cars reversing in and the tow bars over the footpath near behind, what is it, Ford and Nissan and that. You know, I've been chatted by people in cars saying, get on the footpath, you know. How can you get on the footpath when you've got four drives that are reversed back right to the fence line? And the other question is about legal dumping on Pollard's.
Was that first one a question, David?
Yes.
Mr. Mullins.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So thank you for that question. I'm happy to arrange for the city's rangers to undertake some proactive patrols out there. It's certainly an offence to block a footpath in any way and force someone like yourself onto the road. So I'll have the city's rangers target that area for you.
Second question, Mr. Ranosh.
And illegal dumping on Pollard Street, I think it's about 64. Rang up the other day about it, reported it, and they come and put black and yellow signs around it. And but the problem is those bin chickens are getting in there and pulling all the bags apart. And there's syringes and stuff laying around, and with the wind blowing, there's getting a bit of a mess around the place.
Let me get a response for you, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Thanks for raising the issue. I'll follow that up tomorrow. That is part of our procedure when we find illegal dumping to tape it off. Quite often that means the person who's illegally dumped takes the material back in. Doesn't always work, and then we clear it up. So I will follow that up tomorrow and make sure it's cleared up, especially the syringes and other things there. So thanks for raising it with the council tonight.
And your final question, Mr. Ranosh.
That's all, thanks.
No more? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mike Masiello.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor, Councillors, Executive Team and the public gallery. My name is Mike Masiello from Trigg. I referenced the carried motion 6 raised by myself at the EGM held the 23rd of March 2026 as detailed in tonight's agenda, page 341. The motion, I'll read it out, that the City provide a report to Council to investigate the cost of a guardrail for the 400-metre stretch of PSP adjacent to West Coast Highway South Trigg and a duplication of the underpass to improve pedestrian safety. The response provided by the officers, the estimated cost of installing a W-beam guardrail along the approximate 400-metre stretch West Coast Highway South Trigg adjacent to the PSP would be in the order of $100,000. $100,000 to upgrade the existing boardwalk and address pedestrian concerns by installing a traffic barrier, with these costs potentially split with main roads. $100,000, $250 a lineal metre versus $30,000 a lineal
Question,
metre
Mr. Masiello, please.
boardwalk through the dunes. We know from the city's community consultation that the primary reasons people support a boardwalk through the dunes is perceived pedestrian safety concerns, fear that they are going to be hit by a 50-tonne truck, as pro-boardwalk campaigners keep saying.
Question,
In the
please,
interest
Mr.
of
Masiello.
ratepayers, for all the
Are
30
you gonna-
wards with these
Mr.
councils, I'm
Masiello,
asking my question right now, yep. In the interest of ratepayers for all 30 wards and value for money for the city, why is the city not considering cost-effective alternatives that would address safety concerns such as a guardrail with a price tag of $100,000 and instead squandering $500,000 on a feasibility assessment for a $25 million structure that likely will never get funding or approval?
Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Chair. I think there's two separate issues. One is the project that's being looked into, the boardwalk. The second is a safety issue. At the moment, there is no plans to install that guardrail. That's not on the council's capital work programme. I understand your safety concerns, but that's not something that's being planned. And then running in tandem is obviously the work that's being done on the boardwalk. So I think you're connecting the two, but we're looking at them separately, hence the response in the council report.
Your second question, Mr. Masiello.
Can the city please provide a list of environmental services contractors used by the city and fees paid to these contractors, lumped on a per contractor basis annually for the 23 financial year to the 26 financial year to date under the following categories: chemical and mechanical weed control, seed collection, plant supply, planting, watering, erosion control, landscape management; B, conservation natural areas; C, supply and delivery of nursery plants; D, rock armouring; and E, feral pest control services.
Thank you, Mr. Masiello. We will take that on notice and get back to you.
Thank you.
Your last question.
My last
please.
question, I'm just asking a question regarding the growing homelessness situation, in particular the person living at the South Trigg Lookout. The individual at this site in particular is a drug user and regularly quite under the influence and quite labile with his actions. On the weekend, while walking to the beach on the path that's next to the lookout, there was a syringe in the sand. I've taken a picture of that. And, you know, a lot of residents in the area have reported issues with this particular person. But nothing seems to be done today. The trolley's still there, the person's still living at the lookout. Now, with the city trying to attract tourists, you know, spending all this money attracting tourists and concerned about safety, I just would like to know what the plan in managing that situation is.
Mr. Quirk.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Masiello, for that question. Quite simply, homelessness is a complex issue to try and address. We do know that the prevalence of homelessness, unfortunately, is increasing across the city. We work collaboratively with Uniting WA to try and provide outreach support and with WA Police where any criminal behaviour is encountered. So I can't give you an easy solution in terms of how we manage the extent of homelessness, whether it be in a particular location or potentially linked to a project. All I can really say is please continue to report those sorts of incidents either to the city or to WA Police, and we'll try and deal with the criminal behaviour, but also provide people experiencing homelessness with the support they need.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions related to tonight's agenda from the floor? Nil, thank you so much. Right. Item 8, applications for leave of absence. Councillors, are there any requests for leave of absence? Yep. Councillor McDowell, go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to request a leave of absence from the 17th to the 24th of June inclusive.
Any other councillors at this time? Councillors, can I please have a mover and seconder to accept that? Councillor Papard, Councillor Ree seconding. Show of hands, please. Show of hands. Councillor Criado, show of hands. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Item 10, announcements by the presiding member. We do have an announcement or two. Due to the frequency and severity of local emergencies, oh, did I miss it? I missed one. Sorry, confirmation of minutes. Thank you, Mr. Salens. Councillors, can I please have a mover and seconder to accept the minutes of the council meeting held on 31st of March 2026? Councillor Olo, seconded Councillor Hatton. Show of hands, please. All in favour? Those against? None. That's carried. Thank you very much. Now we go to the announcements by the presiding member. The frequency and severity of local emergencies around the Perth metropolitan area appears to be increasing. These emergencies can be natural hazards or hostile acts with the potential impacts on our community requiring a coordinated rapid response. On Sunday the 3rd and Monday the 4th of May 2026, the City of Stirling coordinated a multi-agency emergency management exercise at both the former ECU Mount Lawley campus and Sherwood Hill Community Centre to test the emergency management arrangements and preparedness at a local level. The exercise scenario was based on a severe weather event causing widespread damage across multiple suburbs, including a building collapse, power outages, flooding, displacement of residents, and emerging public safety and welfare concerns. As the scenario evolved, the focus transitioned from response into recovery, which required prioritisation, coordination, and shared decision-making across the city and many partner agencies. I would like to congratulate the city's community safety team, in particular, Mr. Michael Quirk, Peter Mullins, Susanna Panaya, Mark Robinson, and Michael Leonard for coordinating this complex exercise. I would also like to thank the Department of Fire and Emergency Services, WA Police Force, Department of Communities, State Emergency Service, St John Ambulance, Red Cross, Salvation Army, City of Bayswater and City of Vincent for their active involvement. And finally, I would like to thank the more than 100 community volunteers whose involvement and acting skills, yes, there were actors there, made the scenario as real life as possible. The response to and recovery from such incidents requires effective local emergency management arrangements, as well as collaboration and preparedness across multiple agencies. Following the success of this exercise, I'm confident that the city and our partner agencies are well prepared should such incidents impact the Stirling community in the future. Well done to the whole team. And just another little quick announcement. Happy birthday to Councillor Joe Ferranti. Hey. Item 11, unresolved business from previous meetings. I have nil. Moving on to reports and recommendations of committees. Councillors, we're moving on to items from the Community and Resource Committee meeting held on 28th of April 2026. Noting that item 12.1 CD1 was lost at committee and therefore needs to be pulled out for discussion this evening. Are there any other Community Resources Committee items that you wish to pull out? Councillor Giudice.
Yes, Mr Acting Mayor. I would like to pull out 12.1 CSA1, 12.1 CD2, and over the page, item 13.1 as well.
Councillors, any other items that need to be pulled out? Councillor Criado.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I would like to pull out item 12.1 CD3. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Dudek.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. Can I pull out 12.1 P1 just for a question? 12.1 IA1. And that's all.
Thank you. Councillors, anyone else? Councillor Ree.
Yes, thank you. May I just ask a question for 12.1 SP1, please? And ask a question for 12.1 F1, please. The rest is pulled.
Yes, you may.
12.1 P1, which I thought it's already pulled.
It's already been pulled out, that one. No others? Councillors, there's a bit of chit-chat? No? Okay. Councillors, we are moving on to item 12.1 SP1, Community Grants Program. Councillor Papard, as the presiding member of the committee, would you like to move the item?
Yes, I move the committee's recommendation on page 16 of the agenda.
Do we have a seconder, please? Councillor Hatton. Do we have anyone? Question, Councillor Reid, go ahead.
Thank you. I did direct the question earlier on. It was a question which was asked to me about how much other money that was given to the Trigg Surf Lifesaving, and I thank Ms Hawkins and Ms Bushencroft over there for their answers. They've got swimming lessons of 4,000, around 4,000. Flotation devices of 1,000 and $10,000 to fitness classes, along with the share of 75,000 with Scarborough towards the surf lifesaving. So thanks very much for that information.
What was the question, Councillor Ree, please?
That was the question. I got an answer.
So you've already had the answer,
Okay,
and you
so
had a question, and you had an answer.
that's why I'm saying it out loud, because a couple of people asked me, so to make sure that everybody heard.
I'll go to Ms Wilson-Croft just to answer that for the benefit of everyone else. Thank you.
Okay.
Through the chair, thank you, Councillor Reid, for the question. Yes, as I advised, there have been 3 grants previously provided to the Trigg Island Surf Lifesaving Club, $4,380 for swimming lessons for seniors, and a $1,000 grant to purchase personal flotation devices to improve volunteer safety, and a $10,000 grant to conduct a health, fitness and social connection program for seniors. In addition, the city does pay an annual contribution to both the Trigg Island Surf Lifesaving Club and the Scarborough Surf Lifesaving Club for the provision of lifesaving services on those beaches. That's over the past 4 years has averaged about $75,000 per year to each of the surf clubs.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Anything further, Councillor Ree? Would just take a little moment. Councillors, we're going to 12.1 CSA 1. Is there any debate on that item? All in favour? Oh, is the voting? Oh, we've got it here. Use your voting pads. It's just... Councillors, that is unanimous, that is carried. Okay, 12.1 CSA 1, review of parking permit policies. Councillor Giudice.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Acting Mayor. Look,
Actually, I better get Councillor Papard to move the committee recommendation
Yes,
first.
Acting Mayor, I move the committee's recommendation on page 25 of the agenda.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Migdale? Councillor Giudice, did you have a question?
procedural. I've just noticed that like to call for a procedural, because I've noticed in the parking permit policy there's a couple of errors potentially in the document, and I'm aware that perhaps that we may want to hold this over. Oh, right, sorry, apologies. Okay.
Hold on. The recommendations referred back to a later meeting. Good, so we're going straight to the vote on this one. Thank you, councillors. That is unanimous. That motion is carried. (12.1)(P1). Mr. Papard is the presiding member.
Yes, thank you, Acting Mayor. I move the committee's recommendation on page 46 of the agenda.
Can I get a seconder for that motion? Seconder. Councillor Ferrante. Councillor Corrado, did you have a question or you just wanted to second? Okay. Sorry, Councillor Dudek, you have a question?
Yes, maybe two questions. Just the first one being, I've been asking these questions, gone back with the officers and almost at an answer, just on specifically Frant, Wadhurst and Fieldgate Reserve, the planting that's proposed. Do we know what ground treatments are proposed to be used, like mulch, wood chips, etc.?
Mr. Johnson.
Through the chair, Councillor Dudek, we're still working through the refinement of the design, but we have heard loud and clear that large-scale mulching is not the desired outcome in the community.
Any further?
Thank you. Yeah, just through the acting mayor, I believe the answer to my question received the other day, a couple of days ago, referenced specifically some loss of turf for biodiversity planting. I'm just wondering, because I've just heard that there's no large-scale mulch. Can I just ask what ground treatments are being proposed for this biodiversity planting?
Mr. Johnson.
Through the chair, well, exactly that. So it'll be some understory planting mixed with some tree planting. Yes, there'll be mulch, but it's to support the juvenile plants to establish.
Anything further, Councillor Dudek?
Maybe over the next few weeks. Just wondering, I guess I'll just confirm that by passing this tonight, we are still able to have discussions over the next few weeks prior to budget to really kind of weed out what council do and don't want in public spaces.
Noted, Councillor.
Confirmation, if I can, Mr. Acting Mayor, that we will have that this isn't the final design and there will be further opportunities to discuss.
Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, through you, Chair. Thank you. The final design will be shared with all councillors, so you'll be able to give us feedback then.
Councillor Ola, did I see your hand up?
Thank you, through the chair. I just want to know how much green space are we actually going to lose in each of the areas? Have we got a percentage?
Mr. Johnson.
Through the chair, it's, the level of detail I think you're after is will be decided upon as we go through the design phases of each of the parks. Right now, we haven't developed any designs other than for 26-27, which we're working through at the moment. Again, as Mr. Murphy said, there'll be an opportunity to provide some feedback annually through the program.
Anything further? Councillor Ree.
Thank you very much, and I'd just like to thank Mr. Johnson for his efforts in trying to get all this done. It's a monumental task, I think, and it's welcomed. I am concerned that it actually says it's noted and Council considers the priority list annually through the integrated budget process. I'm concerned about some parks, like Jackadder Lake, that has got worse with algae and the leaves, and I thank him for coming for a walk with me.
Question, please, Councillor.
I would like to have a comment. I have spoken to the acting CEO and Mr. Johnson. So I'd like to see whether or not it's still okay for us to hold it over, because there's no problems about, we haven't got a time frame. So some of these issues that have been raised by other councillors that we can address. So I'd like to hold it over to until more information is provided, especially with
Councillor, are you
Richards.
debating or did you actually have a question?
Well, that's what I would like to hold it over, but I'm asking whether the CEO, the acting CEO and Mr Johnson have any objection to it, even though I've previously asked. Because when it's held over, we're making sure that it's okay. There's no time.
I'll go to Mr Quirk.
Through you, Mr Mayor, Councillor Reid, that is an opportunity for Council right now. If you wish to move a procedural for this to be held over, Council can make that decision. Bearing in mind that we did have a Council workshop on this matter and it did go through unanimously at committee, but that is now Council's prerogative with this report on the table.
Councillor Reid, what say you?
I'd say that I'd like to move a procedural that it just gets held over just to the next council meeting. So some of the issues of how large a wood chip is and whether or not rabbits eat redback spiders, etc. That was alluded by Coastal.
We're moving a procedural, Councillor?
Yes, please.
Okay. I need a seconder for that procedural. Councillor Thornton. Yep. Councillors, we're going straight to the vote on this procedural motion. Go to your pads. Okay. If I can just read through that. That motion is carried, and for, we have Councillors Criado, Dudek, Ferrante, Giudice, Eon, Olo, Ree and Thornton, and against we had Councillors Hatton, Kosticevich, Migdal, Papard, Perkov and Proud. Motion is carried. Councillors, we're moving on to 12.1 CD1, the World Health Organization Global Age Friendly Membership. Do I have a mover for this motion? I'll go to the presiding member, Mr Papard.
Yes, thank
Councillor
you,
Papard.
Acting Mayor. I move the officer's recommendation on page 72.
Do I have a seconder for this? Councillor Migdal, seconder. Anyone against this? Councillor Dudek, you're against? Councillor Papard, you can speak to the motion.
Yeah, I have nothing further to add at this stage, Acting Mayor.
Councillor Migdal, a seconder.
Thank you. I do want to talk to this, and I'd like to firstly say when it comes to our officers within the city who work on our age-friendly program, what an amazing body of work that we do under the leadership of Chris Brereton and Mick. But let me get back to this item. This is a no-cost, high-value decision. There's no membership fee, but it gives our staff access to a veritable think tank of global expertise. 1,700 cities sharing practical ideas, proven programs, and real-world solutions for ageing well. It directly strengthens the work we are already doing under our age-friendly plan, and it makes it easier for our officers to deliver the best possible outcomes for our older residents. We all know what happens when people age in isolation. When older residents become disconnected from the community, their physical health declines faster, their mental health suffers, and their independence is eroded. Loneliness drives poorer outcomes and higher service needs. By joining this network, we're choosing to back in the programs that keep people vibrant, connected, and engaged for longer, and to learn from what works elsewhere in the world so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Again, let me remind you, joining is at no cost. There is no cost to the city. Crucially, this is not something done to our older residents, it is done with them. Membership encourages councils to involve pensioners and seniors in co-designing services, to give them a seat at the table in planning what ageing well in Stirling should look like, and to include them in shaping future services for themselves and generations that follow. It's an opportunity for older people to stay engaged, to share their experience, and to help build the kind of community that they want to age in. Stirling prides itself on good, better, best. We don't aim for the bare minimum, we aim for best practice. We already have a strong foundation, long-standing services, an evidence-based plan, committed staff. This membership is the next logical step from good to better to best for our seniors, our officers, and our city's reputation as leaders in this space. Being mindful that many local governments in Western Australia have already adopted this membership. For all these reasons, and noting again, there is no financial cost to the city, I strongly support us joining this program, and I believe the additional scaffolding and the think tank of over 1,700 cities globally will only benefit our residents in our ageing population at the City of Stirling. I ask you to support this. Thank you.
Anyone speaking against? Councillor Dudek.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. As we've discussed and then voted down at committee last week, this proposal to seek membership in the WHO's Global Network for Age-Friendly Cities and Communities, I think, carries some significant risks with not much benefit in return. And primarily, I think we should acknowledge the growing public hesitancy surrounding the WHO. Over the past few years, and particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic, their reputation has been absolutely smashed, and not without reason. Contradictory health messaging, structural dysfunction, and politicised decision-making.
Point of clarification, can I get comment from officers on that?
Can I just finish my
Councillor Mcdowell, let him continue. Let him continue, please.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. And it is this politicised decision-making that is almost certainly the most concerning part and leaves us open to massive risk depending on who is currently in power in the US or China, as is often the case with these UN bodies. Entangling the City of Stirling with an unelected international body that is currently suffering a crisis of global trust, I think is entirely unnecessary for us to serve our community. And frankly, we don't need to lend our credibility to help them out. Secondly, if we look closely at the WHO's age-friendly framework itself, even the academic consensus is highly critical. Now, scholars have pointed out that the WHO rolled this out with significant methodological flaws and a lack of transparency. The framework promotes a rigid top-down approach and doesn't capture the unique cultural and socio-economic diversity of a place like Stirling. Now, these are some of the criticisms that you can read from scholars. Now, we already have our own age-friendly plan, 2023 to 2027. I don't think we need a rubber stamp from Geneva to build better footpaths, support our autumn clubs, or improve community transport. I think we need to focus our resources right here in Perth, listening to our own residents rather than chasing international memberships that bring bureaucratic checklists and reputational baggage. So let's keep our focus local, maintain our independence, and deliver for our seniors on our own terms. And I urge you to vote against this recommendation. Thank you.
Is anyone wishing to speak for? Anyone against? Who was the first hand? Councillor Hatton?
Thanks, Mr. Acting Mayor. Look, I'm going to speak. I don't know whether it's for or against, but you might get by the tone of my voice what it may be. I'll let you judge that. We as a city, certainly over the last 35 years, I believe, have demonstrated our age friendliness in many, many capacities. Those capacities that we've demonstrated in actually fall well within, in my opinion, the 8 domains of WHO. Those 8 domains being the outdoor space and buildings, transportation, housing, social participation, respect and social inclusion, civic participation and employment, communication and information, and community support and health services. We are doing a lot, and we have done a lot, and I do worry about bureaucratic control from elsewhere, whether it be at levels of government within Australia, like the federal government may be overriding state government with legislation such as happened in the Northern Territory with euthanasia in the 90s, and federal government came in and overrode it within 1 year. We don't want to be overridden by a global community, like Councillor Dudak said. We don't want to be overridden by people who have their fantasy aims and goals globally. We see what's happening in America at the moment. We would hate any of that to be filtering down into our beautiful city of Stirling when we're doing such a wonderful job now. I would suggest, whichever way this vote goes, that we, well, if it goes to affirmative, then obviously we are going to be committed to the 8 domains, even though it's affiliation. If we go in the negative and vote against it, I suggest that we actually stick to those domains and use those domains and test our case on what we have already. So I'll leave it up to the will of the council here, and I'll make my vote at the time. So thank you.
Councillor Kostesiewicz.
Thank you very much. I've got a couple of questions because I'm confused whether I'm reading a different report or not. But are there any obligations for us to do anything by joining the World Health Organization? Are we committed? Are we forced to do things?
Mr. Brereton.
Through the chair, thank you for the question. There are requirements, but those requirements are to submit reports, submit, I guess, initiatives that the city is actually doing, but there's no mandatory requirements to undertake any works that are determined from the World Health Organization or the network.
No, and that's what I thought. So it's really, you know, people talk about, and I hear it all the time, about what wonderful work the City of Stirling's doing, how amazing our plans are, how well connected we are with the community. Why wouldn't we share this with the world? Why wouldn't we give an opportunity for the World Health Organization to share this with every other organisation in the entire world to say, here's best practice in the City of Stirling, here's something you can learn, we can participate and get involved. There's absolutely no obligation for us to do anything other than learn from others. And some of those learnings may well be worth bringing into the City of Stirling. So, you know, I just don't understand why we wouldn't be open to getting that information. I suppose the question I've got as well, if we didn't join the World Health Organization, would we still be able to get the level of expertise and support from around the world to help us get better at what we do?
I'll allow that one. Mr. Brereton.
Thank you, through the chair. Thank you again for the question there. I guess the city already is a member of the the state age-friendly network, which has 23 local governments that have age-friendly plans. We wouldn't, I guess we could undertake research and find some of the models, but we may not have access to all of the models that would be available.
Thank you very much. And look, based on that, I just don't see any downside here. I mean, there's no obligation for us to do anything other than share the amazing work that we're doing with the World Health Organization and the rest of the world. And we have access to all of their information and networks. And we take whatever we think is of value and we implement it, and we thank them for providing the information if it's of no value. So I just don't see a downside to it at all. And I can't imagine why people would be reluctant to use the expertise of the world, because, you know, people do travel around the world to learn what other countries do, to learn what other local governments do, to get a better understanding, to bring that information back here to the City of Stirling. And this is an opportunity for us to get access to that information without having to travel the world. So cost benefit.
Councillor Proud.
Thanks, Mr. Acting Mayor. Look, there was some long debate at committee regarding this. I'm not going to rehash everything I said then, but I will reiterate a little bit of what some people said. Our esteemed mayor mentioned conspiracy theories, and I think that drives a lot into this. I will just say, it's very simple. There is no cost to the City of Stirling. We can only learn from it, and it will just complement the services that we already deliver in this space. Thank you to the officers.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Ree.
Thank you. A couple of questions, if I may. The World Health Organisation, yes, notorious for good, bad and questionable, especially after COVID, and we're looking at bird flu coming our way, so that would be interesting. I haven't seen the paperwork, my apologies if there is paperwork floating around. The paperwork, if we agree to this, what are we agreeing to? If we agree to be a City of Stirling councillor, we abide by the City of Stirling's motions and minutes. So are we then having to abide by the advice given by the World Health Organisation, which may be that we all hop into Nookaburra Stream?
Let me get an answer for you. Mr Brereton.
Thank you through the chair. Thank you for your question, Councillor Ree. The information in terms of obligations is an attachment to the actual report itself. As we have mentioned, we are in no way obliged by being part of the network to, I guess, undertake anything that is directed by the World Health Organisation. From the officer's perspective, this is just an opportunity to learn from evidence-based models that might benefit the city that we could put forward.
Anything further, Councillor Ree?
Yes, well, I'm a little bit concerned how we would benefit, because I know I can access WHO documentation now, and I'm quite capable of Googling for free when my OT's working, so that we can all get. So I don't understand what true benefit. I'm just very concerned with aligning ourselves with someone that's controversial. How many other councils in Western Australia are aligned with WHO? I don't know if I read that.
Mr Brereton.
Thank you through the chair. Thank you for the question. In the report, we've identified 7 local governments in Western Australia that are part of this network.
So 7 councils out of 136 that we, 37. 39. Oh, a couple of days, you never know. That have joined up. I'm not convinced. I mean, they do a lot of really good work. I'm not saying that, but I'm not convinced how our alignment as a local government with them would benefit us. We can get virtually everything we need from them now. I am concerned about some of the advice they give, that we would not be, say, conducive to whatever they may say, because it is controversial and they are more political than what we are, but they have to look at the world. We're only looking at our world. So we're local, their world, they're global. So their decision-making is slightly different. And I wouldn't like to see us losing our focus on our local because we have to be aligned to something global. If we're not going to look after local, we're never going to look after global. But if we take our eyes off on our backyard, I think we're gone. So I think those sort of things are still concerning in my head. And I am familiar with what they do, and I have quoted their research, and they do some fantastic things. So I'm not saying they're not good, but I just don't know whether that's a local government, that alignment we should have, and secondly, what affects if we actually say something that's against what they're putting out. And we know that because in COVID, what they were saying, what our government was saying, some other governments around them were saying, didn't always be the same. So, and the world is changing, it is. And the decision makers who sit in little rooms somewhere, they're changing, or maybe not, who knows. You know, we have to be able to sit there and be looking after our ratepayers. And I think our ratepayers and residents do a great job, you know, especially those that are elderly, and they all can speak quite well. They come in here very well and very targeted. And
Now we're
strong
digressing
voice.
a bit, Councillor.
So I don't
Can we wrap it up, please?
I actually don't see the value at this time, and I'm just concerned about aligning with someone that's not locally driven. Thank you.
Councillor, I believe Hatton was before Councillor Ollo. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Acting Presiding Member.
Councillor Hatton, have you already spoken on this?
I have a question, if I may.
Oh, no, please take your seat. Councillor Ollo, you go.
Thank you. I know there's been we had a good discussion at the CRC meeting. Now, we voted against the WHO coming on board with the City of Stirling. Now, we've been doing aged care and looking after the elderly for 35 years, and I thank all the officers for the wonderful work they do with the aged out there. We have done so much out there in the community. We have looked after elderly, we have provided services, and we have a plan for an age-friendly plan for 2023 and 2027, pardon me, which identifies and reflects the life experience and aspiration of older people in Stirling. And it's listed what we are doing. So I do not see how WHO is going to help our community at the end of the day, because this is global, and we're talking global. We're here in Western Australia. So a country, say in England or other countries, they've got different ways they look after the elderly. We should be sitting here as a council looking after our elderly the best way we can. And I think we are doing a fantastic job, and I don't see the necessity of having WHO come on board to be telling us what we can and can't do. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Criado.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I would just like to speak in favour for membership to this World Health Organization Aging Community Network. In response to some of the concerns raised tonight by my fellow councillors, Australia as a country is a member of WHO and of the World Health Organization, and has been so since its inception in 1948. It currently sits on the executive for the World Health Organization and is a major volunteer financial contributor and has a major role to play in the Indo-Pacific region when it comes to managing global issues of health related to immunization, management of pandemics, management of other health issues, which, as we have seen with the global pandemic, health does not have any barriers. So this is just in response to what some of the concerns raised. And whether City of Stirling is a member of the World Health Organization age-friendly network or not, the World Health Organization is not going to direct what we do, because they are a governing body and they can only give information and support as to what is the best practice. They cannot direct countries or a local government as to what they should be doing with their age-friendly plan. Commitment to joining this is about having commitment to continuous improvement. It's about having access to a global network made up of over 1,600 or 1,700 countries, as raised by Councillor McDale, and cities, and 52 countries around the world. The countries that are not part of the World Health Organization are about the United States, Kyrgyzstan, Timor, and a couple of small countries. Now, Australia is a major holder already. I think City of Stirling, by joining this, is only showing that it's demonstrating a commitment to continuous improvement and access to this global opportunity of research and of best practice that is being carried out. So I think being part of the network will only help us compare and contrast what we are doing, learn from other countries, and it is not going to in any shape or form affect the governance of what City of Stirling does. So I would ask you to please support membership of this global network tonight. Thank you.
Councillors, is there anyone else before I go to the closing? Yep, Councillor Papard.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. And I won't respond at length, but I thank the councillors for all their contributions here and in the committee. It was a very detailed debate. There's clearly different opinions in the chamber, and councillors are passionate about it, talking about the risks and the benefits. And for this item, I don't want to influence debate or direction, because there's already been good, strong views put across. So I ask the council to vote on their conscience. Thank you, Acting Mayor.
Thank you. Councillors, we are going to go to the vote. It had to happen. Councillors, we have a tie. We have councillors Criado, Ferrante, Giudici, Hatton, Krstičević, Migdal and Proud, and against we have councillors Dudek, Ion, Olo, Papard, Perkov, Ree and Thornton. As the presiding member, I will cast my vote against this. Yes. I believe that motion is therefore lost. I'm just getting some advice from here that we may need someone to move a motion that council does not seek membership. Councillor Dudek.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. Just something that may get a bit more broad appeal is that perhaps we move as another motion that council does not seek membership to the World Health Organization Age-Friendly Cities for the next year, for the next 12 months. Yeah, at this time.
Can I get a seconder for that motion? Councillor Ree. I think we've had enough debate at this point in time, councillors. I'd like to put that to the vote.
Sorry, can I just...
Councillor Migdal, you'll go ahead.
Can I just clarify? I'm a bit confused. We put forward an item, the item was lost. So how are we now putting forward another item?
I believe there is no actual standing recommendation.
Sorry, I'm confused.
Mr. Silence?
Through you, Acting Mayor, just because something is lost, that means there's no decision that's been made. So in other words, to make sure that a decision is made, then something should be carried, otherwise it just lies on the table and doesn't sort of go anywhere. So because in terms of the...
Councillor Migdal, is that not clarified? Councillor Krstičević, please take your seat. Please take your seat. Councillor Migdal, did you have any further questions? A little bit more clarification? No? Councillor Krstičević.
Can I get a point of clarification? Can you do a procedural to send this back to committee? Well, yeah, I would like to move a procedure that goes back to committee, considering it was a tied vote and a tie-breaker was required. I think getting more information might...
Hold on. Just one, councillors, one at a time. One at a time. Let me get some guidance here.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any debate. Councillor Krstičević, you're well within your right to ask for a procedural. I need a seconder. We will not have any more debate on this. We will go straight to the vote on the procedural. Councillor Proud, you're seconding that, the procedural? Councillors will go to the vote on the procedural motion only. We need a few more. Councillors, that procedural motion is carried, and for we have councillors Criado, Ferrante, Giudici, Hatton, Ion, Krstičević, Migdal, Proud, Ree and Thornton, and against we have councillors Dudek, Orlo, Papard and Perkov. So that will be going back to the committee at some time. We didn't put a time limit on it, did we, Councillor Krstičević? Could be any time. I know that last one was a little bit tricky, but we are getting guidance from governance here, and it was done correctly. Councillors, moving on to item 12.1, CD2, Disability Access and Inclusion Plan. Councillor Papard is the presiding member. Would you move that item?
Yes, again, Acting Mayor, I move the committee's recommendation on page 84 of the agenda.
And Councillor Ferrante has seconded that. Anyone against? Anyone have any questions? Councillor Ree, you against or you have questions? Yeah, go ahead, question.
My first one is, who is actually on the Disability Advisory Group at the moment, please, because it's not in the minutes.
Mr. Brereton, do we have a list? We may need some time to just find that list if you give us a moment.
Question is, we used to use the Joe Camilleri Centre, which was fantastic for disability services and was run so well and really gave a lot of encouragement to our disability persons. Why is that not used anymore, please?
Mr. Brereton. Okay, Mr. Quirk.
Through you, Mr. Chair, that was a decision of council following the community services service review that we would no longer directly deliver those services.
So through you, would we have to put a motion to get that back, would we?
I would say so, but Mr. Quirk.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I might have a further conversation with you, Councillor Ree. That was an exhaustive service review process that we went through. We made some pretty crucial decisions that impacted a lot of people, both employees and members of our community. We've repurposed that facility now for our seniors services. So I wouldn't recommend simply bringing a motion back, but certainly more than happy to have a conversation with Councillor Ree.
Can do that offline. Mr. Quirk, have we come up with those names from the first question, please?
My other question is...
Take a seat, Councillor.
Oh, Chris is...
Yeah.
Mr. Brereton.
Yeah, thank you. We do have a list of names here. Would you prefer us to just provide that information, or do you want me to read a list?
Councillor Ree, would you like them read out at this meeting?
Are there any councillors or members of the community on it anymore?
Mr. Brereton.
There's plenty of members of the community, yes. There's no elected members currently on it. So the membership, so the committee is chaired by the Director of Planning and Development. Sorry. It's just being scrolled whilst I'm here. Director of Community Development also attends, Community Engagement Chairperson, so I guess the manager, Carl Mallett, is the Manager of Community Development. But in terms of people who are 15 community members, so listed here we have...
we don't need to go through all them,
Yep.
Mr. Brereton.
So
Councillor, if you turn to the right, they're sitting in the audience. There's a whole lot of them sitting in the audience. They're waving to you. That's it.
So probably the more succinct answer is we went through an election process. There's 15 community members representing a large range of people with disabilities.
Fantastic. Councillor Ree.
Yes, well, I do recall I was on the Disability Advisory Committee before I even became a councillor, and then was when I was a councillor.
It's wonderful
but then
knowing.
It disappeared for some reason.
Do you have any other questions for us, please?
Part of the review, as Mr. Quirk said. The other thing is that, you know, when I look at, and I have discussed this with Mr. Johnson, when we look at disability services, and it is a mention regarding our parks today about suitability for people in parks, that Jakarta Lake, we put a fence around the playground to stop children going into the lake. However, that stopped people with wheelchairs or people with disabilities getting into the park, and people with dogs, and they now have to go across the road to get back in. So so my question is, because I put up that motion and it was not approved, my question is, when we're looking at these disability services, are we looking at access to these parks? Because it doesn't seem to be happening on the ground. So...
Mr. Quirk.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So yes, absolutely. Our new Disability Access and Inclusion Plan, theme number 2, focuses on buildings, facilities and outdoor spaces. So you'll see a number of actions there on page 108 of the agenda. One of those being embed the principles of universal design and lived experience into the planning of buildings, facilities and outdoor spaces, and something that we have recently done, and we did it with Corrine Regional Open Space, the new major playground upgrade, and we'll continue to do this through the advisory group, is bring projects and designs through that group as part of the design and the consultation process. So we bring that lens of universal design and lived experience into the design of spaces like playgrounds, parks and facilities.
Thank you.
Councillor, I'll read just one more.
I'll get the staff to re-forward, now that you're acting CEO and acting mayor, re-forward my little motion about making sure that Jakarta Lake is accessible for people with disability, dogs and little children. Thank you.
Noted. I think we've got Councillor Giudice. Were you next? Go ahead.
Thank you, Acting Mr Mayor. Yeah, look, I don't have any questions. I just want to, I suppose, commend the city in preparing this plan. I know it's, I suppose, an act-related one in terms of we've got to do this every 5 years. But
Questions only, Councillor Giudice.
oh, all right. Well, I will ask a question.
The presiding member can open debate if he wishes to.
You know, Yep. All right, I'll get back up then. Is that okay?
Take your seat, please, Councillor Giudice. Councillor Papard, as the presiding member, you wish to, you can open debate on.
No debate. I think we can. Enough's been said, so nothing further to add. Thank you.
No, sorry.
It was just a question. Councillor Ferranti, you as the seconder?
No, I'm intrigued by the rest of the discussion.
Councillor Giudice, do you wish to debate? Go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Thank you. Look, I'd be vociferously, obviously, supporting what the recommendation is, and I suppose I'd just like to thank the Access and Inclusion Advisory Group members coming tonight. I think that's really appreciated, and thank you for asking a few questions as well, and putting us and our directorate on their toes. So thank you very much for attending and actually waiting through a number of other items. So I really appreciate that. So thank you. I'd also like to, I suppose, indicate my thanks to our officers, obviously the Chair, Ms Shears, Ms Everett, Mr Brereton, Mr Mallett, and Mr Murphy as well, for all the work that they've done in, I suppose, advocating for this plan, its preparation. And as I said before, whilst it's actually something, I suppose, required of us through an act, I think we are doing a very good effort. And I think what you'll find, if you did go to the attachments, the depth of consultation that we've done, I think is another element to be commended. I dare say Mr Murphy may have had a role in that. I just think it's fantastic, and I would, as I say, if the councillors haven't had the time to actually read through that, I would suggest that. And I think as the acting CEO, Mr Quirk, indicated, I think we'll start to see this percolate into a number of the decisions that council will have before us. So I really look forward to that. And as I said, I would like to see this be adopted.
Councillors, did I see any other hands up? Councillor Migdal.
It was to ask a question when we were asking questions, but I didn't get to ask the question. So I'll ask the question now. And that question is...
I'll allow it, Councillor. It's okay.
Thank you. And I just wanted to know, I don't recall the opportunity to raise my hand for this group. However, I may have been distracted and missed the opportunity. Is there...
Councillor Reid, don't talk across the chamber, please.
Is there
Thank
a
you.
particular reason why councillors are not able to join this working group, as there are other working groups that we can join?
Mr Quirk.
Through you, Mr Chair. Councillor Migdal, we reviewed the membership and the terms of reference for many of our advisory groups and in fact moved some of those advisory groups to become working groups. This was one of only two groups that remained established as an advisory function. The Local Emergency Management Committee is a little bit different, but the reason why councillors aren't on this particular advisory group, it is now a formal advisory group for council. So we will formally bring projects and issues and different things through the advisory group. They can then make through the officers recommendations to council for you to decide upon. So because of that review and the change in terms of reference, there aren't elected members on the advisory group because those advisory group or this advisory group will make recommendations through to council to consider.
Thank you. And the reason, I'm just going to say, the reason I asked that question is because just from this report alone, you can appreciate, we can all appreciate, there is a substantial body of work, substantial, that has been done, even for the report tonight. And I congratulate officers and the group who are here this evening. I acknowledge and am grateful for the time and effort that they've put into this report. But my concern is, reading through the report, how does one prioritise? There are so many things to address that I feel we haven't addressed and need some type of scaffolding to understand an order that we may address these in. So I would ask that perhaps off the back of this item, we have some type of priority system by which, and I understand it'll be brought to council in due course, but perhaps we can have some input and start working on it.
Councillor, I'll get some comment on that from Ms Shears.
Thank you, Chair. Through the Chair, in terms of the items that we do bring to this particular group, we work across the council to identify projects, both in infrastructure and community development and all different teams to, I guess, try and make use of this incredible group. It is a challenge because we don't have that many meetings that we can work through these projects with the group. We also try, particularly like Segwan came earlier and spoke about the forecourt work, we try and get this group out on site as much as possible. I believe they also attended the Terry Tyzack upgrade when that was being done as well. So really trying to make use of the valuable input that we do have on this group is a key priority for us. So we are trying to make sure that it's something that we can get a timing alignment through our process as well. So it's early involvement from this group so that that can inform design changes early on in the projects, but then also see that come to fruition as we go through the process as well.
Thanks, Ms Shears. Councillor Kosticic.
Thank you very much. I've just got a comment and a question. I've dealt with this group since being elected as a councillor, but more so through one of its members, Richard Curry, back in for many, many years who was on there. And I found him and the advisory group to be invaluable in terms of helping me formulate different activities and events and structural improvements along the coastal ward. And he's obviously no longer on there, but I'm just, my question is really, how as a councillor can I have access directly to individuals in that group if I want to work with them and get advice from them on issues that are happening in the coastal ward on specific matters? Because as I said, I've found the group, the membership of the group to be invaluable from that perspective, and I have used it frequently. And not only that, as Mr Quirk would know, Richard Curry was a great advocate to fight for and support me in trying to get, and I support him in terms of getting some of those changes which may have been a little bit more difficult to get over the line over the years. So that has been, like I said, a very valuable resource, and I'm just wondering whether we would still have access to individuals if we needed to contact them to ask for advice on a case-by-case basis.
Ms Shears.
Through the Chair, certainly, Councillor, you can come through myself or Acting CEO Michael Quirk. Either of us can point you in the right direction. We are mindful of the group's time and not monopolising that too much. They are busy people as well, but certainly we welcome their input on many projects across the city.
Councillors, if there's no more debate here, I'll take it to the mover of the motion, presiding member.
Thank you, Mr Acting Mayor, and I will be brief. And I thank everybody for their contributions and the city officers for all the hard work they've done on this. And disability access is actually something very dear to my heart, and particularly going forward in the future, we hope that we give disabled people access to the beach better with a boardwalk in the future, which will be great. But it was passed unanimously at committee, so I do hope that the council will also pass it unanimously tonight. Thank you very much.
Councillors, we're going to the vote. Councillor Ion, are we missing you? And Councillor Ree. Thank you, councillors. That is unanimous. That motion is carried. (12.1) CD3 councillors propose additional categories for the 2027 Art Awards and Exhibition. That was pulled out. I'll get to Councillor Papard to move as a motion.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. I move the committee's recommendation on page what page? 208. 179, my apologies, 179.
I got a seconder from Councillor Ree. Is there anybody against? Is there any questions here, councillors?
Yes.
No, well, I haven't called you up yet, Councillor Ree. Councillor Corrado, go ahead.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. It was just a question, and which is why I asked for this to be pulled out, because I wasn't at committee last week. I was just curious to understand why the acquisitive first prize has gone up in value from 2021 incrementally by $500, but this time it's gone up by $2,000. And then the second and third prize have remained static since 2021. And then the People's Choice Award also has been doubled is proposed that it should be doubled for this year. I was just curious to understand the reasoning behind it. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Let's find out. Mr. Brereton.
Thank you through the chair. Thank you for your question, councillor. I don't fully, I've only had the arts portfolio for a short time, but in conversations with Julie Rosario, the arts coordinator, my understanding is that what we're seeking to do with the Arts and Exhibition Awards is to actually help facilitate good quality applications and also develop local artists as well. From a strategic point of view, what we've been doing is also comparing from an acquisitive award perspective what would be a reasonable value that we would actually pay for a prize-winning award. So we've made adjustments on that. So we have been working within the budgets and trying to put incentives in areas that the officers have recommended. But certainly it's up to council if you have a different view.
Councillor Corrado, happy with that?
Yes, no further questions. Thank you.
Councillors, any other questions on this item? Councillor Ree, go ahead.
Yes, please. Could I have, and I've discussed it with Mr. Brereton and the Acting CEO, to instead of just having 3 highly commended awards, the intent was actually to have the City of Stirling Awards, the City of Stirling Resident Youth, the City of Stirling Resident Senior. So they're the 3 awards. So people got a bit confused that they got lost in translation. So that's actually making it specific what those awards are. And if you like, Mr. Brereton or the Acting CEO can comment, because that was the intent. It just because it was written there, people misinterpreted that the City of Stirling local part of it was lost, and that was actually part of my original motion, which unfortunately is not in there, because it actually addressed a whole lot of other issues. So that makes it quite clear that we are looking after our local residents, we're looking after our local people that paint and artistic people, which is looking after the City of Stirling, and also encouraging the different age groups. And I think, if I recall, one of the comments made that there's a big a number of people that are seniors that actually participate in the awards, and that is really good because that keeps them busy, and I think it's a good mental health thing as well. So I'd like those. It's just changing what the wording is to what it actually, those awards, because people were a bit confused. It was.
We understand, Councillor Ree. Councillor Papard, are you happy with that amendment?
Yes, I'm happy with that amendment. That's fine.
Okay. It's part of the substantive motion now. That's it. Councillors, Councillor Giudice, go ahead.
Yeah, just a question, just on that amendment. I recall reading in the report, I suppose about a seniors particularly specific award, that there were statistics in here that sort of indicated that the vast majority of our submitters were potentially of a senior age, and that I thought that at least that level of award was indicated not to be, not appropriate, I suppose, because fundamentally everyone in that category is submitting, I think, and we're trying to attract, obviously, you know, the Aboriginal Artist Award, that makes sense, perhaps the youth. I suppose this is just a bit on the run a little bit, so I wouldn't mind just an answer, maybe from, the officer.
Mr. Brereton.
Thank you through the chair. Thank you for your question. Just for clarity, you're absolutely correct in terms of the discussion that we had and what the report intended. However, what Councillor Ree is proposing is on page 184, we'd actually indicated that there was 3 highly commended awards. So Councillor Ree is actually proposing that we be more specific about those awards. And one of the distinctions in those 3 specific things was about them being City Stirling residents for both the seniors, youth and a general award. So within those statistics, the 40 to 45% that we estimated were over 65. I guess from our awards entrance, there is, I guess, about 45% of entrants are local residents, and this gives us the opportunity to recognise local residents as well as any open applications we have for the other award categories. Have I got that correct? Yes. Thank you.
Councillor Giudice, anything further?
Just very quickly, so in regard to that specific one for the City of Stirling residents senior, you don't see any issue with that, or that commendation, I suppose, could potentially go to and being, I suppose, the best commendation out of any piece of artwork? Or is there, I suppose, again, not seeing where that senior commendation sits in the report itself.
Mr. Brereton.
I guess what we try and do is nominate, I guess, different categories where we're looking for participation. When people actually nominate and complete their nomination forms, they actually advise where they want to sit in that. So this just gives us an opportunity, I guess, to be able to look if someone has nominated for an open award of a senior age and they're not successful in that, for us to be able to, or the panel who is assessing those artworks, to be able to consider whether there's a local resident who is of senior age who should be considered for a high commendation.
Any other questions from the councillors? Councillor Proud, go ahead.
Tad confused. What do we do with the people aged 19 to 69? Where are they covered? And why don't we just leave it as the table, but expand the table on 184, page 184, to actually clarify what was the intention?
Oh, Mr. Brereton. Yeah, look, it's up to Councillor Proud. It's up to council whether we want to make that happen.
Well, we haven't voted on it yet.
No, we haven't.
It just could be a tad clearer. Where are the people from 19 to 69? Are they in the first award, as in the City of Stirling Resident Award? So would that age group be from 19 to 69? So why don't we just spell that out on page 184 in the table so it makes it absolutely clear rather than in the actual motion to be adopted?
Councillor Pratt, just give us a moment. Give us a moment. I'm going to go to Mr. Quirk here.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Look, obviously it's up to council whether you wish to amend anything in front of you there, but importantly, that the next art awards aren't until 2027. So not next financial year, the financial year after. So I think what we've got through Councillor Ree's notice of motion, the investigation that's been done by city officers and the general intent of the recommendation we've got in front of us, I feel that's enough for officers to go away and do some work in preparation for the 2027 Art Awards and exhibition. And what we can then do is, as part of the budget process for 27-28, bring back our interpretation of this as part of the budget process, rather than playing around with categories tonight.
Councillor Pratt, does that make sense? Okay. Councillor Hatton?
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. I'd just like to make it known I'm a bit confused too, and because it's got up there, receives and considers, and because of what our officers have just said, I'm happy to go with that, but I am a bit confused and it's a bit on the fly, which makes it a little bit annoying. Thank you.
Councillor Hatton, was there a question there that you need clarification?
The question...
You're just confused. Was
Sorry?
that it? That's
Sorry,
it. Was there a question there? Why are you confused?
Yeah, why am I confused? Thank you.
Councillor Migdal.
I'm going to move to put the motion.
You're just putting them...
We actually
Councillor
need to vote
Migdal,
on that.
hold on. Councillor Migdal, you're putting to go to a vote. You're not moving a procedural or anything like that.
It's moving that the motion be put. You need to get us to vote if we want to do that, and that's fine.
I need a seconder for that put motion, please. Councillor Ferrante, there we go. Keep it in the hood. Councillors, we're going to go to the vote to put the motion. Councillor Iron.
Again, this one yet doesn't work.
Councillors, the vote to put that motion is unanimous. That is carried. So we're going back to the main motion. You're voting on the substantive that's in front of you. Thank you, councillors. That is unanimous. That motion is carried. Thank you. 12.1 IA1, councillors, can I ask the presiding member to move the committee recommendation?
Thank you, Acting Mayor. I move the committee's recommendation on page 189 of the agenda.
Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Kosticevich, a seconder. Councillor Dudek, you are wanting... do you have an alt?
Yes, thank you, Acting Mayor. I wanted to potentially move an alt-rec. Sorry, my apologies. An amendment addition. I was going to ask the Acting Mayor to write a letter to the President of Walga, but I figured I'd phrase it this way instead if we can get it on the board. That the City of Stirling requests that the West Australian Local Government Association formally advocates to the state government for a legislative review of Section 3.11A of the Local Government Act, acknowledging that this clause currently operates as an unfunded mandate that shifts the financial burden of achieving state and federal environmental targets onto local ratepayers. It doesn't say too much different to what's in the actual WALGA endorsed position. It does just give them a certain mechanism that WALGA can potentially
I'll go to the mover and the seconder, see if they accept this amendment. Councillor Papard?
Yeah, I'll accept that for the purposes of debate, if I may do that.
Councillor Kosticevich?
Yeah, look, I'm happy with that as well. Obviously, a letter would have been great, but I'm happy with what's up there.
Councillors, I will open it, because I feel there will be some questions here. I will open it to questions. Councillor Ion, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. Yes, I want to know how can local government can reduce the gas, the green gas emission? How can be reduced? Because it is written in the policy.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy.
Through you, Chair, I'll need to take that question on notice. I'm not quite sure what's meant by green gas, so I'll have to take that question on notice.
And I have another question. If City of Stirling have any climate plan, and if we have, if in this plan it is included any outage, any power outage, and what can be done? Because this has happened last year in Spain and Portugal.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes, Chair. Well, we do have a Sustainable Energy Action Plan, which talks about how we reduce emissions and our costs. And we do have business continuity plans to deal with power outages.
Councillors, any other questions on this item? No? There being no one against this, we'll put it to the vote. Is somebody out of the chamber? I can only see.
Chair, can I just ask a question on that?
Yes, Councillor.
We had a substantive, we then amended to an old rec. It was just an amendment to the substantive.
Can I have those votes back up on the screen, please? Okay, that motion was carried. For we have Councillors Crowder, Dudek, Judici, Hatton, Ion, Krstičević, Migdal, Olo, Papard, Perkoff, Proud and Ree. And against we have Councillor Thornton, noting that Councillor Ferrante was out of the chamber. Councillors, 12.1 F1, I believe. Councillor Reid, did you have a question for that one? Councillor Papard, would you like to move the motion?
Thank you, Acting Premier. Sorry, Acting.
That's the second time. That's the second time tonight.
Acting Mayor. Happy days. I move the committee's recommendation on page 208 of the agenda. Thank you.
Seconder, Councillor Krstičević. Councillor Ree, your question, please.
Yes, thank you. On page 16, and my apologies, I didn't get them earlier. QED Environmental Services, they're consulting $43,000. What were they consulting, please?
Ms Hawkins.
Thank you, through the Chair. Councillor Ree, I'm sorry, I'm not sure of that one, so let me take it on notice and I'll provide it to you in writing.
Okay, thank you. On page 17, Byte Construction, just civil constructions, that was 90,000. I didn't think we had anything works going on. Is that one?
Mr Murphy's looking like it's ready.
Through Chair, I mean, I can check and I'll confirm in writing, but Byte Construction are the company that's been appointed to construct the new recycling centre Balcatta transfer station to a value of about $10 million. So that's one of the first invoices, I think, which is they were required to finalise the design. So I think that's some of the design costs before they started construction.
Anything further, Councillor Ree?
Yes, thank you. Just one more, thank you. On page 25, the comment was made earlier that we don't do street lighting. So why are we paying $83,000 to, I gather, Western, I'm not a bit confused here, $83,000 to street lighting infrastructure? So are we paying it to Western Power, or are we, does that mean we're pruning the trees associated with Western Power lines?
Mr Murphy.
Through Chair. So the situation's a little bit complicated. The assets belong to Western Power, but the city pays for them. So we pay an annual tariff for each street light, which includes the cover of the cost of the electricity and the renewal cost of the pole. But we don't decide where the poles go, and we don't own the asset. In terms of power poles, trees under power poles, we are required to maintain certain distances. So we do quite a lot of pruning work to maintain trees below power lines. That's pretty normal.
So just
One more, Councillor Ree.
No, just to clarify that, I'm happy to get in the bags after. So are we saying that we own the street lights and the power poles in Ellen Sterling Boulevard? We do. You can ask Mr. Jim. We do on those ones because they were all out recently. So I've been through this exercise lately. The thing is with the Western Power, the planting of the trees. So I'm just confused that if we are or we're not. I'm quite happy to get it on notice.
Councillor Ree, this is actually,
I'm a bit confused.
you're not talking about schedule of accounts now, you're talking about something else that you would like to talk
I'm
about.
talking about this particular account that says $83,000.
Are we able to take that offline,
Whether it's
please?
for trees or not. Yes, that's what I just
Yeah,
said.
we can get it.
All the councillors
That's great.
could be informed. And I've discussed this with Mr Johnson as well, so I'm sure he'd love the reply.
We'll get back. Thank you, Councillor Ree. Is there any other questions on this item? There be no other questions, I'll take it to Councillor Papard to put it to the vote. Oh, we've got to put it straight to the vote, I think. Councillor Ion, President. Councillors, that motion is carried unanimously, noting that Councillor Migdal's out of the chamber. Councillor Papard, as the presiding member, the Community Resources Committee meeting, would you like to move the balance of reports?
Yes, Acting Mayor, I move the balance of the reports.
Can I get a seconder for that? Councillor Hatton, and we're going to move to the vote. Councillor Ree. Councillors, thank you. That is unanimous. Balance of reports are carried. Members of the gallery, the remainder of the Community and Resources Committee recommendations have been adopted by exception resolution. Okay. Item 13. These are the reports for consideration. In accordance with Clause 4.24 of the Meeting Procedures Local Law Act, this is the EGM items, and that's been pulled out, or there's an alt-rec there. Councillor Judici, what's your alt-rec?
Yes, Acting Mr Mayor, it should be up on the screen. Do you want me to read it out?
Yep, go ahead.
That in relation to Elector Motion 1, a separate report be presented to the Community and Resources Committee meeting to be held 26th May 2026 regarding the Verge Tree at 49B and C, John Street, Inglewood, and the report is to include consideration of relevant matters, including the 6 criteria listed in the elected general meeting. It's disappeared. That's all right. Elected meeting motion 1, and provide options for the management of the tree, including removal and tree replacement for council's consideration.
Councillor, I'm just going to go to Mr Silence just to add some clarification to this.
Yep.
Sorry, thank you, Acting Mayor. I think just what's happened previously in terms of the EGM minutes, that if there's a situation where an elected motion has been pulled out for discussion, what generally happens is parts 1 and 2, as is on the screen before you, is moved and seconded, and then whatever is those ones that are pulled out are considered separately as separate motions, if that sort of makes sense to some degree. So, yeah, so basically all it's doing is moving the balance of both the minutes and obviously what are the recommendations that are outlined in the attachment, but where an elected member has chosen to pull something out, then we deal with that. From a traditional point of view, from my understanding, is we've pulled that out separately for elected members to vote on. So first and foremost, what you, through you, Acting Mayor, is to have a mover and seconder for 1 and 2, put that to the vote, and then Councillor Giudice, with obviously a seconder, can then move on to discuss that second item as well, if that.
Just a point of clarification, sorry.
What's your point of clarification, Councillor?
So when you read point 2 of that motion, of the recommendation, it says that you're adopting the officer's recommendations, but in this case, we're not adopting the officer recommendation for, so wouldn't you pull it out first, deal with that separately, and then deal with the balance of reports afterwards, like we would normally with any other scenario?
Mr. Silence, clarification.
Through you, Acting Mayor, just from my understanding, what's happened previously, I mean, local governments do it differently. But in terms of, yeah, I know, I mean, for instance, there might be an elected member who wishes to move out, extract another elected motion. If that's the case, flag it, and then that would obviously alter part 2. At the moment, there's only one elected motion that has been requested to be pulled out, which is the one that Councillor Giudice has made mention of. But however, if there is other elected motions that an elected member wishes to pull out, if you raise that now, then that can be incorporated into the part 2.
Thank you, Mr. Silence. Councillor Ree, you had your hand up. Are you pulling out another motion, or you want some clarification?
Yes, please. So maybe it should read, with the exception of the following. No? So I can say that? Okay, motion 6. So are you referencing elected motion 6 then? Yes, please. So elected motion 6 on page 341, please.
Okay, so that's motion 6. We're pulling that one out, Councillor.
Yeah, page 341. I don't
Okay,
know.
take a seat, bear with us.
Okay. Yeah, to do the guardrail now.
Councillors, just bear with us. I need a mover and a seconder for. Need a mover and a seconder for 1 and 2. That's Councillor Kosticic. Councillor Giudice is a seconder.
Just to get the guardrail up for people now.
So, councillors, just to be clear, we are actually voting on this. On 1 and 2. 13.1, 1 and 2. Take your time, have a read. So those EGM motions 1 and 6 are going to be taken out and discussed separately. Councillors, let's vote on this, please. One and two together, Councillor. Councillors, that's unanimous. That's carried. Just bear with us. Councillor Giudice, the stage is all yours to move that first one. Yep, move it.
I'd like to move the motion up on the page.
Do I have a seconder for that one? Councillor Kosticic, your hand was up next. Anyone against that, councillors? Okay. Yep, Councillor Thornton, what's your question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. The extra criteria that Councillor Giudice has proposed, is that recognised as a part of a established framework for tree assessment?
Yeah, Mr. Johnson.
Through the chair, Councillor Thornton, no, I'm not aware of it being attached to any framework that arborists use in assessing trees.
Thank you. I have another question too, if I may, Acting Mayor. I'm deeply concerned about setting a precedence here. I'm concerned about opening the floodgates to tall tree removal in our suburbs, where we won't have any tall trees on our verges because people have their fears. So my question is, what objective criteria distinguishes this specific tall tree from others that we have across the city that may have similar characteristics?
Mr. Johnson.
Through the chair, thank you for your question, Councillor Thornton. I'm not aware of any characteristics that distinguish this tree from any other large trees across the city. We are recommending to go through the tree appeals panel as we've exhausted all possible opportunities to resolve this with the residents.
Councillor Thornton. Councillor Proud, question.
Based on that, it goes through the general process, to go through the appeals process, and then I'm thinking it's council has the opportunity to then call it to council if necessary. I think that appeals panel, their report would have to come back to council surely. Through you to Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson.
When the tree appeal panel was set up, it was with the intent that council wouldn't be an appeal of the appeal. So that's our position right now. That being said, we do recognise and we are looking to improve the tree appeal panel terms of reference and process as we go through them. We have only had one tree go through the process as yet. This tree has yet to be an application has yet to be submitted for this tree, so we get to go through for a second time.
Councillor Proud, go ahead.
Just for clarity, it goes through the process. There may be a outcome, which is that the tree remains with some remedial service to it. Council will find out about that, I'm presuming. Okay? Or that's a yes?
Is that your question through the chair? That's your question?
That's my question.
Mr. Johnson.
Through the chair, there would not be a formal report to council, but absolutely would make you aware of the outcome. The tree appeal panel makes a recommendation to the Director of Infrastructure, and then the Director may in turn make council aware of the outcome.
Councillor Proud.
I understand. So long as it's a yes or no that comes out of, just a sentence. But the answer could well be from the panel that it's like remove the tree completely. So then council finds out in a sentence the tree's going. Does council have any opportunity to do anything with whatever that outcome is? I think that's the query around the table.
Is it the query around the table? We're thinking. Mr. Johnson or Mr. Murphy.
That's you, Chair. As part of the tree policy, that doesn't automatically occur, but I mean, there are other mechanisms that council can use to, call the matter in, I guess. So I think Mr. Johnson's right. The idea was that council wouldn't get involved in this as an operational matter. The tree policy was, a huge discussion at workshops and through committee, and we made changes. And if you remember, before we had the tree review panel, we just had the tree delegate. So that was one person making the decision. So we created, based on feedback from council, the tree review panel, which is 3 members, an independent arborist, and these 3 people wouldn't be already involved. They would be independent in that sense. And then they would make a determination or a recommendation to myself as director. Of course, if I'm involved, I would refer it to another director, which I probably will do in this case. So that was the process set up, so council didn't have to get involved. Having said that, there's always mechanisms for council to be able to call
I
that.
totally understand, and it's clear, because we shouldn't be getting involved in operational matters. So, and we do trust our officers to come with the correct decision and assessment on the subject tree. Thanks.
There be no further questions. Councillor Giudice, did you have a question.
Yeah, just-
Because we're not in debate, so.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah, just it's more one question, I think, and is that I suppose, given that this, I suppose the appeals panel is in its infancy, it's only had one appeal panel consideration, and I think my understanding, and I'd like to ask the question through the chair, is that hasn't been, I mean, the council hasn't been made aware of that, and I'm just trying to understand. Councillor Proud is trying to get that understanding. We haven't had that shared with us previously, have we?
Mr. Johnson.
Through the chair, no, we haven't, and that's part of the continuous improvement that we see as we go through these processes each time. We recognise that we need to be transparent through the process.
Yeah, and I suppose
So
that's
Judas.
part of the reason why we'd like to see this come before us, and hence the motion.
Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Hatton.
It's probably fairly common knowledge that I'm pretty passionate about this issue, considering what we've been dealing with mature trees in the Crean area and Hammersley, that we've had residents who have had some fear and anxiety with large branches growing across their properties. It's been going on for a number of years. So I want to ask, well, I just want to say that there's no application for the tree panel at the moment. Is that correct?
Mr. Johnson.
Through the chair, correct. We have not received an application since we gave them the opportunity about 6 weeks ago.
Okay, and that's
Councillor Hatton.
fine. There's reasons for that I won't go into or even want to go into. However, if there was an application, say tomorrow, how long would it take for the tree panel to meet on that and to get a resolution, do you think, through the chair?
Mr. Johnson.
Pending availability of the officers and the consulting arborist, I'd like to think within a week or two we could meet and have all the information at hand.
And I appreciate the work you do on that, but there is no sort of like definitive timeline, so it's a little bit up in the air. And I see that motion in front of us brought forward as one that actually gets the report written for all of us, and regardless of the tree panel, whether it's taken on board or not. But I think I would personally like a report to be written, and I do encourage the work to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hatton. Councillor Proud. I will allow one more.
Really quick one, through you to the governance manager. So on your consideration, would you consider this to be separation of powers? Council should be considering this is a separation of powers issue where you've got administration and maybe council trying to delve into it. I don't know. What's your take on it?
Mr. Silence.
Thank you. Just through you, Acting Mayor. I suppose ultimately the way that I very simplistically see it, and I suppose to some degree that's probably why a report might be worth coming back through committee to sort of discuss it, because I don't necessarily have all the answers. But on face value, because this is a city tree, this is a city asset, for want of a better word, then obviously the city can choose to do what it wants to do with it based on whether it be direction from council through policy or whether or not it be an operational need or so forth. So I don't necessarily think it's a separation of power issue, because it's about council determining what it wants to do with its own asset. And I suppose the complication here is the views of the adjoining property owners versus the views of the city, and also the direction set by council through policy. So I think that's not necessarily a separation of power duties, it's more in terms of the city's administration and operations following what it does with its own assets and trees.
I totally get that, but the argument could be used, not by me, but it could be used by others. So this is actually operational, the assets of the trees, right? We can help plant them. So if we were talking about fleet equipment or a big excavator or something, do we sell it now or do we sell it later? That question really wouldn't come to council because that's operational. That's why we have officers qualified officers to manage that stuff. That would be us getting mixed up in administrative and operational stuff. It's the only way it can be seen. Anyway, let's go.
Well, Councillor Iron, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. What is the value of the tree, please?
Mr. Johnson, Halliwell value, what is it? Over to you.
Through the chair, I believe it's in the 20,000s.
I can update that.
Mr. Murphy?
Through Chair, I'm lucky that I have it in front of me. And Mr. Johnson staying independent, so he's not been involved with the detail. That's why he isn't across all the detail, and I answered some of the questions tonight. But the Halliwell amenity valuation is $41,657. $41,657 and 76 cents.
Thank you for that, Mr. Murphy. If there's no further... Oh, Councillor Migdal, go ahead.
Question with regards to this tree. On how many occasions has it caused damage that has required insurance to cover any damages?
Mr. Johnson.
Through you, Chair, I believe there's two cases that have gone to the local government insurance scheme. One is currently pending an outcome, one has been declined.
Anything further, Councillor?
Sorry, just to be clear, the one that was declined as in what? They didn't accept payment for the damages?
Mr. Johnson, do we have any details?
I don't have the specific details. All that I'm aware of is that the liability was declined.
We'll have to look into that, Councillor. We just don't know. Councillor Olo?
You, Acting Mayor. I don't know if I can answer on behalf of the officer, but...
No, you can't.
No, okay, I was just going to...
Would you like to frame a question in such a way that he would have to answer it?
Well, it's really no, I'll leave it. I'll just pass it on to the officer.
Thank you very much. Councillor Ree.
Look, this tree situation is throughout the city, and as we grow bigger and our trees grow taller, as long as they're not on the freeway and the state government takes them off, we've got to consider these things. But I think this is actually a really good solution. Take it away, look at this particular problem. I mean, if the people took the time to come to an electors meeting to be heard, we should respect that and let the officers do a proper investigation and then come back. And then they can also, the people can come to the CRC meeting, make a submission, stand there and say also the good, bad and the ugly. So to me, this is going forward and we should respect the ratepayers by doing so.
Thank you, Councillor. There be no further questions, councillors. No one was against. We're going to the vote on this, please. That motion is carried. The vote is unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Councillor Ree, you've pulled out number 6 out of the EGMs. I'm not quite sure what it is. What is your motion, please?
Thank you. My motion, I've given it to the staff and they're writing extremely fast. My point is that the report be present. Whoops, gone. Report. No, it's coming.
Oh, we stopped the scroll.
I'll just say that because there is an issue there at the moment for pedestrians, cyclists, motorists...
Councillor, give us a moment.
Well, I'm just doing a background.
No, I don't need background noise. Is it up on the board? There it is now. Go ahead.
Okay. In relation to the elected motion 6, a separate report be presented to the Community and Resource meeting to be held 25th of May regarding establishing a guardrail along 400-metre stretch to the existing principal shared path adjacent to West Coast Highway South Trig to improve the current safety issues for pedestrians, cyclists, motorists on the 26-27 budget. Now, all that is saying is that There is a current issue, there's a safety issue.
Councillor,
Can we address
I'm
it
going to
right
need a
now?
seconder, then I'm going to
I've
ask.
got a reason.
Councillor Judici?
I think we're missing.
No, I need a seconder,
Oh,
councillor.
I'm seconding and then.
Okay.
But I just want to ask, I don't know if it's fully captured, that motion, that's all.
We're going to work through it. There is something else that I'm going to get Mr. Murphy to have a look at a date. Date seems to be very, very sort of narrow time frame.
Quite happy for it to be a lot longer if you want to get more time, but it's okay.
Just going to get some advice from Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, through you, Chair. Yeah, I mean, the 26th of May is pretty tight. We've already put in, I think, in our response, kind of the indicative cost based on just the length. But to do a more accurate, we know we need a bit more time. Councillor Judici is right. There is a second part. It's the underpass question. But I mean, that is a big question. That's going to take a lot of work because that's a big engineering solution. So we probably need 6 months if we were doing that as well.
I'm happy, Chair, to change the date, to change the date.
On that suggestion, Councillor Rhea, are you happy to push that date out? Did you hear Mr. Murphy said yes? Are we looking at 6 months?
Look, I'm happy to change the date and I'll take it on advisement with the staff what date they want it. Because it is an issue, but it's really a shocking issue now. I've got people in prams getting run over by cyclists and trying to move over, and it's terrible. I could send them to you.
Okay, Councillor.
Put within 6 months rather than approximately 6 months? Within?
Yeah, I mean, through you, Chair, if I can help, within 6 months works. I
That's fine.
think it talks about the budget. It would have to be a mid-year review. We'd miss this year's budget because we're close to getting
This
that
takes it
sorted.
out to
So,
November, Councillor.
yeah.
Councillor, here's an idea. Would you be comfortable removing the budget reference? Just leaving it open, just getting the date, but leaving it open? Would you be?
Because the report will come back anyway, so yeah, we've just missed the...
Exactly. Councillor Judici, you're seconder, happy?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, as Mr. Murphy indicated, it's just missing one element, which is the duplication of underpass. So it should just be added after, before adjacent, I think it would be. Principal shared path and duplication of underpass adjacent to of underpass. And that would
Councillor
capture
Ree, we
both
can only
aspects.
add that. Councillor Ree, you happy with that addition?
I was trying to write fast.
Councillors, the mover and the seconder are happy with that wording at the moment. Does anyone else have any questions or debate? Anyone against? Councillor Papard, is it a question?
Just a question on specifically on where it says duplication of underpass. Can I get some clarification where that is or what part of that section of the shared path that is intended to be?
Mr. Murphy?
Chair, my understanding is it's the underpass which is near the car park in Trigg. The Trigg car park near, I think it's that end. That's where pedestrians are forced up onto the road as well, onto the highway. So I think that's where the underpass is. It takes you under the highway.
Councillor Papard?
Yeah, I'm just not quite understanding how duplication of that underpass as opposed to the shared path along West Coast Highway there is going to work in the context of this motion. What's it intended to be? That's all. I can't quite visualise that. What does it look like?
Councillor Papard, I believe that the report will identify that. We can.
Okay, I'll leave it open for that. Yep.
Councillor Hatton's next. Didn't have your hand up. Councillor Kosticic.
Thank you very much. I know it says the words underpass there, but if people are familiar with that particular location, they'll know it's not the underpass that's the problem, it's the overpass. It's the widening of the overpass so that it widens the bottleneck point at that point. So is the terminology underpass correct? Because I would have thought it would be the overpass that you'd be looking to do rather than the underpass. because I don't think there's an issue with the underpass per se. I think it's the overpass. But Jeff, I can get some clarification on that, please.
Let's ask and let's see if we've got any engineers in the room.
Through Chair, I don't disagree with Councillor Krstovic. I think we're responding to the motion put, but I'm not sure that it is a safety issue. I mean, what they're suggesting is we widen it. We do, we widen it, which is quite a big engineering solution and cost. Yeah. I'm not sure that it's a safety issue. I get the 400 metres along the West Coast Highway where, people are right up against the road. I get that, but I don't get how, the safety issues. I don't disagree, but if we respond to the motion, we can look into it and make that comment. This doesn't, this isn't a safety issue, or this is a safety issue. We'll get the engineers to look at that.
My point is
if that makes sense.
I think the elector's motion is flawed, and I think this is flawed as well by referring to it as the underpass, and I think it should be changed to an overpass if you're going to do it. But I hear what you're saying, because the underpass is not a problem.
Just going to get some guidance here, and we do have ample time now to work through this. What wording can we use to sort of cover both bases, just in case in engineering terms we don't understand if it's an underpass or an overpass? Can we just put a slash or something? The intent is there, but this is a little bit more detail.
Happy to just put slash overpass, underpass, because the report's going to bring it all together anyway. So if that makes you happy, much better. That's good. It's all about making you happy.
Councillor Ree, good, we can do that. Take your seat. And Councillor Judici, do you agree with that? Just a small
yes.
alteration. Or governance, they've got it there already. Well done. Councillor Judici, you had a question as well. You had a question.
Oh, sorry, apologies. Oh, yeah, no, well, I was going to suggest. I think, I suppose the officer's comment, continued the misconception of the underpass being duplicated. I think the intent is the principal shared path at that location, which is an overpass, where there's an underpass, is narrowed, and it should be the same width as the principal shared path that currently exists north and south of it. So it technically overpass.
That's good. Looks like we've got there. Any other questions? We're happy with this. We're happy to go to vote. Let's go to the vote. Thank you, councillors. That motion is carried. That is unanimous. Well done. We're in the final stretch. Item 14, councillors, notices of motion for consideration. I have nil. Item 15, notices of motion for consideration at the next meeting. Councillors, do you have any proposed notices of motion that you would like to raise this evening? Looking around the room, there is a couple. Councillor Migdal, yes, please.
Should I read it? Yeah.
Go ahead.
That a report be presented to the Community and Resources Committee meeting to be held 30th of June 2026 to consider a trial with community consultation, including online consultation, of an exclusion zone for electric scooters and e-bikes from internal walking paths at Yokine Reserve in Yokine.
And your reason was? Up on the board.
Due to an increase in complaints from park attendees who have had near misses with fast travelling e-equipment and who feel that the risk to children and elderly park attendees is too high.
Thank you, Councillor Migdal. Councillor Ferrante.
Yeah, thank you. The report be presented to Council for consideration of opening 53 electric station points located at the City of Stirling Civics Place for public use. And given the current situation of the global fuel supplies, that Council considers a reduced per kilowatt rate for ratepayers for a period of up to 3 months, as similarly done in reducing fuel levy to help the cost of living expenses. I so moved.
Yeah, it's a motion. We'll bring a report back. Thank you, Councillor Ferrante. There'd be no others. Councillor Ree.
Yes, just pull down. Yep, oh, here it comes. Oh, there. Resource Committee to exclude trial with to exclude electric vehicles, etc., on Jakarta Lake, please.
Is that much like the Yokine one?
The
But
same.
it's virtually the same.
Much the same.
You piggybacked on another motion. Fine.
It's easier.
Okay,
Thank you.
done. Councillors will have plenty of time to go through all our lakes and pathways with these scooters. Okay, item 16, questions by members of which due notice has been given. I have nil. Item 17, new business of an urgent nature. I have nil. Oh, I've got a page here somewhere. Where are we going? Councillors, we have two items which require us to go behind closed doors. The first one being 18.1 and also 18.2. Do I need to read those out, Governance? Okay. Item 18.1, we need to read them out. This is the new regulation. Partial acquisition of Lot 807 from Catalina Regional Council. And the other one is 18.2, employment matter, appointment of Director of Corporate Services. Can I have a mover, please, to go behind closed doors? Councillor Dudek.
Happy to move to go behind.
Councillor Ion as well. Show of hands, councillors. That is unanimous. We are going behind closed doors. Okay, I'll welcome back to the members of the public who are returning to the live stream. And just please be advised that the motions that were behind closed doors. Move Councillor Giudice, second Councillor Kosticevich. Council authorises the acquisition of 4/12 of Lot 807 from Catalina Regional Council for nil consideration. Point 2, that Council authorises the Mayor and the Chief Executive Officer to sign the deed of transfer and to affix the common seal to enact the transaction detailed in Part 1 above. The motion was put and declared and carried 14-0. It's an absolute majority. Item 18.2, the employment matter, appointment of Director of Corporate Services. Council resolution was moved by Councillor Rees, seconded by Councillor Dudek. Point 1, that Council accepts the Chief Executive Officer's recommendation of the appointment of the preferred candidate as detailed in Attachment 1 to the position of Director of Corporate Services on a 5-year employment contract. And point 2, that Council authorises the Chief Executive Officer to enter into negotiations on behalf of the City with the preferred candidate and to execute the Standard Employees Agreement. That motion was carried, declared unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Item 19, we've done so well, closure. That brings us to the end of the proceedings this evening. I say goodbye to and good night to everyone, including our viewers at home. I now declare the meeting closed at 9:09 p.m. Thank you.